Hello and welcome, listeners and viewers. This is me, Tarmeer Singh, along with my co-host Sakshi Sehgal, and I welcome you all to yet another amazing episode of Vips Rhythm's OG podcast series, The Industry Insights.
It is now time to get all of you updated with the most fascinating insights from our industry experts who are live and in studio today with us.
Well, very well said, Sakshi. और आज का एपिसोड होने वाला है और भी खास because we have an alumni on board. Well, who better than the college seniors themselves जो हमें दे सके इतने ज़्यादा valuable और very to the point insights हमारे सारे students को और बाकी viewers और listeners को भी. So without a further ado, let me introduce a very creative, passionate and strategic thinker who also believes that whatever comes off her mouth in a very office and a corporate setup can definitely put to use. तो देखते हैं आज जो भी हमारा गेस्ट हमारे साथ शेयर करता है कि हम कैसे उसको यूज कर सकते हैं इन अ वेरी इंसाइटफुल एंड लर्नेबल मैनर फॉर श्योर. Allow me to welcome senior writer at Ogilvy, Prachi Sharma.
Hi guys. Happy to be here. It's a great opportunity to interact with you guys, and I hope you guys can take me back to my college days again. It's very fascinating to be here. How are you all?
It's so good to have you on board, Prachi. And I'm sure our listeners who are none other than college-going and budding media professionals will definitely benefit out of the conversation we'll be having today. So glad to have you on our podcast as a guest.
Right, Sakshi.
Yeah, let's hope so.
Yes, and thank you so much, Prachi, for taking time for us and indulging in this very informational and candid conversation. As I hope this entire conversation and the podcast episode goes around, क्योंकि हमारा theme बिल्कुल light और candid रहता है because stress तो वैसे ही है पढ़ते पढ़ते. So this extra bite of distressment and information is what we think to give to all our viewers and listeners who are watching and listening to us right now. So, Prachi, my question to you would be in a very, I would say, मैं बिल्कुल relatable format में जो पूछना चाहूँगा आपसे कि नहीं पता होता कॉलेज के बाद क्या करना है. इट्स अ वेरी वेरी मैसिव चैलेंज एंड अ वेरी बिग क्वेश्चन. एंड व्हेन वी गॉट टू न्यू अबाउट यू दैट यू आर वर्किंग इन एडवर्टाइजमेंट, सो एडवर्टाइजिंग एक ऐसा इंडस्ट्री है जिसका आपको एक्सपोजर स्टूडेंट लाइफ में इतना जल्दी नहीं मिल सकता बिकॉज इट्स अ वेरी स्पेसिफिक इंडस्ट्री. लाइक यू हैव टू सेट फुट इन इट फर्स्ट, बी अ कंपेलिंग राइटर और लाइक कम फ्रॉम अ वीडियो बैकग्राउंड और समथिंग, अनलाइक professions like filmmaking or I would say designing, which are very specific on the basis of the skills you have. But advertisement is a juncture of all these skills. So how can someone know कि जैसे बीमारी की सिम्टम्स होते हैं तो ऐसे कौन से वो सिम्टम्स हैं जैसे हमें पता लग सकते हैं कि हाँ यार maybe I can set my foot or maybe start working in advertising. So what are those skills or those interests usually a person in the industry has?
So ये जो आपने सिम्टम्स वाली बात बोली है ना, that's very true. ये सिम्टम ना आपको कहीं ना कहीं दिख जाएंगे. And luckily for me, I did not have to wait until college to find out that I really wanted to be in advertising. So to be frank, I have this very, very interesting story for you guys. At least it's interesting to me. So, and I love to tell the story to everyone.
Right.
So the story behind me getting fascinated by advertising is it started in 11th standard. I was a commerce student and I was pathetic at mathematics, right? I was really bad at math. And 11th के end तक I was like barely passing and 12th में आ चुकी थी मैं. 12th पे भी like थोड़ा बहुत मैथ, सिर्फ मैथ्स में, बाकी सब मेरा ठीक था. 12th में आके मैथ्स में हम थोड़ा पास होने की कोशिश कर रहे थे. And at that time there was this very interesting show, to me at least, called The Crazy Ones. And बचपन से ना like I was very fascinated by jingles. So I would like घर पे बैठे बैठे ना I would pick up one product and create like a bad pathetic jingle out of it. Like अगर कोई साबुन मिला है तो मैं उसको बोलूंगी, मतलब उसके ऊपर मैं बर्तन धोने का कुछ jingle बना दूंगी या कुछ बना. My parents were like pretty irritated by me. Right. And then I saw this show called The Crazy Ones. It featured Robin Williams in it, and the first episode I saw those people in that episode they were creating a jingle for McDonald's, and I was like, it like The Crazy Ones का अगर आप देखोगे ना, like the intro of it is like bulb getting lit up, and that was it. That was that moment कि हाँ मुझे लगा कि I want to be in advertising. So I tried to switch my subject, at least math, into media studies. It didn't happen, but by the end of 12th, I knew I had to be in advertising. So my purpose of entering WITS and getting to learn more about media was all very like decided by the end of 12th for me. So that is why, that's how I knew I wanted to be in advertising. Yeah. So that's my story.
Here I actually relate to you a lot, because even my psyche, when before joining WIPS or before entering the mass communication field, was that I am very intrigued by advertising industry. I would love to work behind the scenes. I would love to be a part of the whole ideation process. So I actually relate a lot with you on this point. And this actually brings me to my next question, which would be how do you think the theoretical knowledge which the college teaches us is actually beneficial in this practical field of advertising? Like, what's that one thing you feel that, okay, fine, like advertising models or whatever, how do you think it correlates with the practicality of advertising?
Let me be very honest. Like like my teachers might disagree with me a little bit. You like when you study, you get to learn about a lot of things that have already happened,
Right.
like back in those days. So they set a very good examples for what you want, what you should be doing in the future, how different you can be in the future, and what not to do in the future. So in those manners, these theories and everything, they come pretty handy. But like when you actually get into the field of advertising, you realize ki it's so different. It can never be taught. You enter it, you think you're good at it, but then you're very basic at it. Then you start learning, and then you start evolving, and then that's how your brain starts working. Like even if you switch from one agency to another, now it's like a total change of thoughts and everything. So I think like the theory does matter to teach you ki what needs to be done and what doesn't need to be done. But like the proper skills of advertising and creativity and all these things, you can only learn them once you start creating those things and you realize ki how the samne wala person is perceiving it. So like if I create a jingle and the samne wala person has a poker face for me, I know ki theek hai, this might not float with him, might not work for him. But like then again you start shooting it off in front of different people and start reading their reactions, so it helps a lot.
Right.
So but do focus on your classes, guys.
Mhm.
Please. I don't want to be not invited to the next season ka episode, career insights ka.
Well, I totally agree with you on this. And coming to the next part of it, Prachi, that ठीक है, इंडस्ट्री में कब घुसना है, कौन सी इंडस्ट्री में एंटर करना है, ये क्लैरिटी हमने ले ली. And you got it through your experience with watching jingles on television and your I would say the inertness to get attracted to musical information, which was what we see in advertising, like musical copies, rhyming copies. So once you're into the industry, then things change suddenly. एकदम से सडन चीज आता है, बिकॉज आप कंटेंट अपने लिए नहीं, आप कंटेंट कॉलेज के असाइनमेंट से नहीं, आप कंटेंट ऑडियंस की कंजम्पशन के लिए बनाते हो, आप कंटेंट क्लाइंट्स के लिए बनाते हो. एंड यू हैव टू बी क्रिएटिव एंड कंपेलिंग एट द सेम टाइम, बिकॉज बाहर कंपेटिटर्स भी हैं, बाकी एड एजेंसीज भी हैं, और आप अभी बस शुरू ही किया है. एंड यू हैव टू राइट अ पर्टिकुलर कॉपी एज एन इंटर्न और एज अ मे बी अ फ्रेशर यू आर स्टार्टिंग इन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन. तो प्रेशर होता है कि यार मतलब अच्छी भी होनी चाहिए और क्लाइंट को पसंद भी आनी चाहिए, ताकि मेरा सीनियर जो है उसको अप्रूव करे. सो व्हाट इज दैट बेसिक, आई वुड से इनर्ट स्किल, जो आगे भी जाके काम आती है सबके, टू बी क्रिएटिव एंड कंपेलिंग. सो हाउ कैन वन क्रिएट अ बैलेंस ऑफ इट, कि मैं क्रिएटिव भी रहूं और मैं कंपेटिटिव भी रहूं, जो मार्केट में चाहिए वैसा भी दूं.
So like the reality is ki these things can never like be on the same tangent. What you think, what your creative superiors think, that is something different, and what the client thinks of the idea is totally different. Like, speaking from personal experience, you might do wonders. Okay, you might like up like normal Lux soap पे आप interesting idea निकाल सकते हो, but you never know सामने client को वो idea कितना पसंद आएगा, कितना नहीं आएगा. They just want to sell the product. At times they want to be creative. Like gradually we're proceeding towards that era where brands want to be proactive. So but like again the client is investing money, he wants the product to be sold and not the creativity to be sold. So that creativity, that compel करने वाला जो आप बात बोल रहे हो ना, that is there, it's definitely there, but sometimes it doesn't it doesn't get the green flag it needs to so that the consumers can actually view it. Like a lot of bad ads, they're not purposely bad. Like sometimes आपको इतना to the point सारी चीजें करनी पड़ती है because of the requirements and everything. That's why they turn out to be like that. So,
But
but
yeah,
you should definitely try.
definitely.
You should always work for yourself. You must create things so that you can add it to your folio. Like a lot of times, things we think have done are actually wonderful ideas, but they don't like get the green signal. We work on it, we prepare it, and then we add it to our folio because we can at least tell other creative people, yeah, this is what we thought of.
Right.
So that's that.
And I think an important part of this entire process of pitching ideas and selling campaigns, which is something that you have a very strong expertise in, I must tell all our listeners and viewers working with Spotify, Airtel, and mega brands that you have worked with. But one thing that is there in every organization, every agency is the fear of rejection and accepting that rejection by your seniors in the first place. And as college students, usually आदत नहीं होती है rejection, क्योंकि आप जो भी असाइनमेंट क्रिएट करते हो कॉलेज में वो आप खुद ही आइडिएट करते हो, फैकल्टी की तरफ से बहुत ज्यादा फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी होती है, तो आपको ना सुनने की जो आदत है वो बहुत धीरे और बहुत देर से लगती है, क्योंकि आपको लगता है अरे मैं गलत कैसे. So when you're in an industry and you have such a strong responsibility, you're working with some mega brands as a fresher, what would you suggest the students to accept the rejection and how to move ahead with it?
Honestly, I don't want you to accept the rejection. Not always. So, like, I know it hurts. Like, it actually pains you to get rejected when you think the idea you thought was so good doesn't float the boat with the person that you're actually pitching it to, whether it's your senior or the client. But at times, like you should really have that faith in yourself. If you think that that an idea is good, just work on it. Just like keep it in your folios and work on it. But at times also, like thankfully, I've had the pleasure of working with the finest seniors in the industry, and they have always improved my ideas. Like, matlab, I swear, it's not like कि वो हमेशा आपकी गलतियां निकालेंगे. The expertise, the experience they have, they definitely make your idea better. So I think it's a great thing, even if you do get rejected by them, but their inputs actually make the idea like 10 times, 100 times better. It's always good. And like, be ready for rejection. Agar tumhara koi rejection, even if you don't have to face rejection from your creative superiors, you will always, and write it on a paper, you will always face rejection from the client. And then आप गुस्सा आएगा कि यारे ऐसे कैसे, इसको तो कुछ समझ ही नहीं आता, ये नहीं होता, वो नहीं होता. But then, like, advertising is a field where you get rejected a lot. So yeah, there's that. You're not the only one. Everyone is getting rejected. Everyone's idea is getting rejected. So don't take it to heart. Just keep going with the flow. Over to you.
So I think this zeal, we should always keep going, no matter what idea we bring to the table, even if it gets rejected, accepted, it's all a part of the process, So a very good takeaway again. And I think with this, we move on to the rapid fire segment, which would be a very candid, a very quirky segment. And, so shall we begin?
Great. But do I get a coffee with current type of a hamper for answering these questions? I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, if we would be conducting it in an offline mode, we would surely next season, pakka, you come
but
to
I
us
think you can always drop in your alumni suggestions to the faculties and to the teacher that this is what you would like to have, and maybe if they prepare, because we just have to be the pass on of it. So you can definitely search extra suggestions.
Sure. Agle season pakka.
Done. Okay. So my first question to you would be, what's your hidden talent? Any weird talent which the world hasn't discovered yet about you?
So, like, I'm not very good at it. It's not exactly a talent, but I can mimic a lot of people. Like, it's not very great. I can like use different voices to create jingles and everything. So that's basically my jingle talent or whatever you call it. But yeah, I can like talk in various accents and various voices to like create a jingle out of it. So yeah, that's fun.
Is a talent. That's God gift, Wow. Okay. So if possible, can you mimic anything which comes to your mind right now, if possible?
That's a hidden talent for a reason. I don't want to, yeah.
Okay. No worries.
Yeah.
So moving on, finish the phrase. What's the way to your heart? The way to my heart is, you have to finish this phrase. The way to my heart is.
Good music choice. Like somebody whose playlist matches mine. That's the way to my heart.
That's the vibe. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's your guilty pleasure?
So my guilty pleasure is watching a lot of comedies. Like I don't really want this guilty pleasure to be known by people, but if I had to say, yeah, that's one of my like I know for a fact that these films are very cliche. Every story like ends up with the guy and girl getting separated, and then they meet to, get to be together again at the end of it. But I just somehow like the whole aspect of rom-coms. So yeah,
Even
that's
that's
one
my
guilty
guilty
pleasure.
pleasure as well. I love binging on comedies, anytime. So even my weekend plan is just binging on some old Bollywood romantic movie and, just chilling.
Yeah.
Okay. So that brings me to my other question, that do you have your own Netflix account, or are you guilty of using somebody else's account, as I am?
Sadly, I have. Sadly, I have my own account. I used to use my friend's account earlier, but then they would change their passwords every month. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
so
dude.
annoying, right? So then I finally decided to like buy my own subscription. So right now I have my
Okay.
own account.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, which ad campaign you enjoyed working on the most?
So it has to be Spotify Wrapped. Like the more bigger campaign for me was Spotify's Dil Filmi to Suno Filmi, but Wrapped is completely a totally different campaign. Well, you don't well, it's
Yeah.
not like any other advertising campaign. The fun you have while working on it, it's like uh, unparalleled. So like what we would do is like we get like data of most streamed songs in a country, and then we get to have fun with it. You can have like 2021 was a year like none other. Like
Yeah.
so like we had to create like a thought for like a thought for the campaign, and then we were like, hey, that's so 2021. Like if you're working in your pajamas while you're wearing a shirt, that's so 2021. If you passed your boards without actually giving the boards, that's so 2021. So we would like link these situations with the most streamed songs, and we would create like a brilliant like at least I would like to call it a brilliant hoarding that people would actually like stop and watch, like see it whenever whether they're driving around or they're like just walking by or something. And then again, like Spotify users, they get those wrapped cards, and it's like very interesting because they want to know, okay, what other people are listening, even if
Yeah.
it's like a like a cringe song or whatever. But like people like to know, okay, what the other person is listening to. So yeah,
Hands
that
down, we
was a
all love
really
Spotify's campaigns, especially the Spotify Wrapped. I personally love it. And, a few days back, only Tanvi and me were discussing about, what were the results of our Spotify Wrapped. So it's amazing. It's amazing.
so yeah, that's one.
Okay. So, what keeps you moving every day? Like, what's your motivation that keeps you going every day or gets you out of your bed every morning?
So like frankly, it's my alarm clock and the deadlines that I have to meet. But secondly, like for a lot of people, advertising is just an industry where you create quirky ads, quirky jingles to sell products, right? But when you get into it, you realize that it's actually an industry that's helping humankind become better. Like there are so many activations and acts that are actually helping us in solving major problems, whether it's like health issues or like awareness issues or anything. Advertising is playing a very big, a very pivotal role in bringing about to change. So that's one thing. Like I would definitely want to create a campaign that, or like an act that helps somebody uh, improve their life. So that's the other thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a very random question. What was your
Yeah.
last impulse buy?
Uh, yeah, so I'm not very keen on shopping. Like I generally shop online. So it has to be like let me show it to you. I bought this case for my AirPods, and it looks like a small Air Jordan kind of a thing, but it's like an AirPod case,
Oh, it's
right?
cute.
So yeah, so it looks like a shoe, and I
Yeah,
was really fascinated by it, so I bought it. So this has to be one.
it's a very good buy and a very cute one. So, Thank you so much for being so candid, Prachi. With this, we come to the end of the rapid fire segment, and we absolutely enjoyed your answers. Thanks for being so honest and so quirky. Over to you, Tanveer.
Thanks.
Thank you, Sakshi and Prachi, for enhancing and I would say impulsifying the overall vibe of this entire podcast series. And before Prachi, we let you go off our panel today, my last question to you would be that right now students are listening to us and even watching us. What would be that one piece of advice you would like to give them as a professional, as a mentor, as an alumni? And I think as a creative person, most importantly, because eventually we all are creative people in this industry, and whether irrespective of our designations and our backgrounds, creativity is a common factor. So what as a creative professional you'd like to advise everyone watching and listening to us?
So it might sound very cliched coming off my mouth, but like guys, please keep exploring. Please keep, whether if you like to read, keep reading. If you like to binge watch shows, watch every kind of show, whether it's a documentary, it's a mockumentary, or like a proper sitcom. If you listen to music, if you watch music videos, like I get inspired by creative music videos. So if you want to go into direction or like film making or anything, watch music videos, watch films, anything. Just like soak in the madness, because this is like one of those chances where you can actually build something out of yourself. So just do whatever you can and do it to the fullest, because आगे जाके बॉस लाइफ थोड़ा सीरियस होने वाला है, तो अभी जितना फन कर सकते हो while actually heading towards like a more purposeful life, do it, do everything, but like give it a purpose, just like land where you want to. And creativity तो यार सब में I think there's no person who is not creative in this world.
Right.
कोई जुगाड़ लगा के क्रिएटिव होता है, कोई अच्छा काम करके क्रिएटिव होता है, कोई कुछ और करके क्रिएटिव होता है, पर हर किसी में एक ना एक टाइप की क्रिएटिविटी होती है. So like just explore that. That's my suggestion to you all. And probably like this final year of your college might turn out to be very fruitful, because you guys will be meeting each other finally.
Yes.
Right? So I hope you guys have fun.
Yeah, I think Sakshi and I would totally agree on what you said. And just like your Jordan AirPods case and Nike's tagline, just keep doing it. That's what I would say. And I think that totally falls in sync with it as well. So nonetheless, thank you, Prachi, for being on board today. It was a pleasure having you. And I think we have got this amazing sense of insights from you, especially from the advertising industry, because irrespective of the fact that ad is something that you do more on the field and less in terms of education. But I think day by day, the inclination towards every platform is moving towards copywriting and creativity, which is eventually the pillars of advertising, I would say. And this is something like people like you and professionals like you, I would say, come on board and take time to give us such valuable insights and have these kind of conversations. I thank you on behalf of the entire faculty and students listening to us. So this was me, Tanveer Singh, in conversation with Prachi Sharma, along with my co-host Sakshi Sehgal. Thank you so much for listening and watching us. Until next time, stay safe and take care.